But one thing that we wanted to get to this week for sure is what's going on in India. So have you been keeping up with what's going on in India?
I've been hearing about it and I've seen it on the news. Basically, India's on fire with COVID.
Yeah. So I wanted to look it up because I wanted to see where they were at today. Because obviously for them it's nighttime over there right now.
So the first, just to like push it in, I just want to tell you what I saw on TV the first time I heard about India, what's going on in terms of COVID. I turned on the TV, I see whoops. I see a field. I see a field
It's burning.
that's burning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, what is there, fire in India? And then they're burning bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's bad. So I just pulled up an article before because I knew it was bad, but I wanted to see if they had stats out for today. So India's new coronavirus cases dipped marginally on Sunday. So this is with the dip, okay? But deaths from COVID-19 jumped by a record 3,689, with one more state in India going on lockdown. So right now, like I'm looking at a graph, right? So if you look up India COVID cases,
I'm looking at it.
You look at a graph, right? And I'm gonna go to deaths. Okay, so let's see. There's like a drop down filter allows you to filter by death. So if you look at the graph, it goes like this. It climbs a little bit, and then pretty much it peaks right after August, then goes down until around March 8th.
So let's talk about this for a second. So let's say March
8th is when you had.
Fine, let's say March 8th you had 77 deaths.
Yes.
You're looking at that graph?
Yeah.
All right. So March 8th you had 77 deaths. May 1st.
Let's do watch this. You said March 8th, right?
I said March 8th.
Okay.
April 8th?
April 8th, we had 70. What you said, 77, right?
Yes.
April 8th was 780.
Yep.
Okay, and now May 1st is 3,689.
That's
crazy,
bad.
man. That's crazy. And
I heard there's like some sort of elections going on in India, and that's why it's
there's
bad
also,
management. And
there's also a resounding from the political figures, problems that you see across the world. In the U.S., we've seen it in Brazil. It's like almost like denial.
Yeah.
That's been a huge issue.
But also they say, oh, well, look, we only have 77 deaths.
Bro, the virus killed.
Think of this. Like they have 77 deaths and their population is like 1 point something billion, right?
Bro, they have 19.6 million cases like all time and 216,000 deaths. Like, and I get America has a whole lot of deaths too.
But there are only 300 million people.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's basically saying that the hospitals, morgues, and crematoriums, which is where people get cremated,
yep.
Has been like completely overwhelmed because they've been taking in 300,000 cases every day in the past 10 days. So it's saying that like many families have had to do their own due diligence and do their own like digging to get oxygen, to get medication,
because
to get things like that.
They weren't ready because honestly, if you look at this graph and you can see in the past like year, they really haven't really been hit that hard with COVID. Honestly,
they did get a surge.
They got a surge in around like September of last year.
Yeah,
which was a big one. But then they got it under control. They got it under control. They had 96,000 cases around September.
Yeah,
and then they got it good. And then they were like, oh well, now since we have it at a good place now, I think they just like, oh okay, well. Let's just go back to normal life.
And the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is very, very, very reluctant to do any more lockdowns because last time they did the lockdown, I think it was in the same time period.
As the September?
Almost. Yeah. So there's a lockdown imposed after the first COVID-19 outbreak, and it led to a decrease in economic output by 24%. Like,
I mean, it makes sense.
No, it happens. And countries have been sending over like oxygen equipment and things like that. And a lot of people are actually very upset with the way that the United States has been handling this crisis.
The India crisis?
Yeah. A lot of people were actually, I saw on like social media and everything, that they were kind of they were kind of taken by surprise that there wasn't more being done by the United States, especially given that the vice president.
But I mean
that's what people were saying, and I get it, but like
she's
the
the
people
vice
that
president of America.
the people that make those decisions are bigger than the vice president. Like that stuff goes at a bunch of different levels. But obviously, if you were electing a half Indian vice president, expecting that
she's going to help India,
is it Kamala or Kamala?
I think it's Kamala.
Okay,
I think it's Kamala.
Let's try Kamala.
Sure.
Let's try Kamala.
Doesn't she say Kamala? I don't know why people kept telling me her name is Kamala.
So if you like with the intention of electing Kamala Harris, thought that, she was going to help, with India and all of that, like that might be
a bad decision.
Like people can't elect officials that way. Like you can't elect officials.
No, of course not.
That's just not sustainable. That's not.
I don't expect them to.
No.
To have
like if a Jordanian president came out right now in America,
prime minister.
No, I mean president. Like a guy Jordanian was running for president in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if he was running for,
he's not gonna help.
Jordanian. We have kings, bro. We don't have. I don't think he's gonna be like, okay, well, let's go fix Shara Medina. Or something like that. It's not gonna work like that.
That's not his job. Like his job is here.
Yeah, I do think though, man. Like, so Modi's government has been criticized a lot. Modi, the prime minister, because a lot of people were maskless for festivals and political activities and things like that, and they allowed that to happen, and that's what caused some of the spikes. And
but like that happens here. That's on the people too.
No, it's on the people too, but they allowed it, is what I'm saying. Like the government like didn't discourage it.
Got it.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it goes back to Brazil got hit stupid hard.
It's leadership,
and it comes back to leadership. Like at the top level, if people are seeing a leader that is not really concerned or approaching it in the seriousness in which it must be approached. Yeah. Of course, you're going to see things like this.
Believe it or not, the people actually do listen to their leaders in the countries. They do. If a leader comes and says, "Oh, you don't need masks," all right, I'm not going to wear a mask.
And another thing that I read is they're fearing that they're not only like doing this, but not only is there a lot of deaths, a lot of scientists and people that are just doing like predictions and statisticians and things like that are trying to like analyze the situation. They're like, I think they're underreporting. No, seriously, that's the thing that's happening right now. They think that India is also, in addition to all this reporting that they're doing, is underreporting. So them saying like,
oh,
okay,
no way.
Yeah, so they're saying that, okay,
they're actually doing that.
Yeah, so they think they are. There's theories that they are, and there's scientists that are getting behind the idea that there's a good possibility that that's happening. There's a lot of content out there that I actually read this morning, but so deaths right now, like we said, 3,689. Their fear is that it's a way higher number that's just not even getting reported.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that's some of the fear that you have.
That's leadership.
But that's leadership, and that's a fear that you have with COVID, because I think in the U.S. our numbers, if anything, might have been on the opposite side, because I have relatives in the healthcare industry, and they said that earlier on, a lot of things were reported as COVID, but they weren't able to get to the root. Like someone might have had COVID, but that might not have been the COD.
Yeah, isn't who was under Governor Cuomo? Remember?
Oh, with the nursing homes and stuff like that.
Like he wasn't reporting that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So there
allegedly,
there's two sides to the fence here for sure, of underreporting, overreporting. I think that it doesn't hit a net like average where you're supposed to be at, but like. No. But that's the problem with this virus is like we don't really know. We don't really know the full effect of it because we don't know who's underreporting. We don't know who's overreporting.
But hey,